What is something that you do better than anybody else around you? Your superpower, your unique ability. You see, a lot of people are dabblers. A lot of people get okay at a lot of different things. And if you look at the masters in history, the Elvis Presleys, the Michael Jacksons, the presidents of the past, they were great at one or two things. Even Bruce Lee has said, "I fear not the man who has tried 1,000 moves once. I fear the man who has tried one move 1,000 times." Master one thing. And in this video, I'm going to talk about how to place your focus on mastering one specific area of your life. Because if you're a master, you're not replaceable. If you're a master, you can add massive value to other people who need your help. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Let's get right to it. I'm Brandon Eastman with Be Better Industries, and if you're new to this YouTube channel, we talk about mindset, achievement, and going after your dreams, going after your goals, anything to help you live a better life. So if you're into those things, hit like on this video so it gets spread to more people, and be sure to hit the subscribe button and then hit the notification bell so you're notified of all future videos that we do going forward. You see, I didn't always know what I wanted to do. When I was in my early 20s, I wasn't making progress at my job. I was 60 pounds heavier than I am now. I was over $20,000 in crippling credit card debt, and I had no idea what my next step was going to be. I had no idea where I was going to go from that situation. And I remember one day I was driving home from work. I was about 21 years old, and a friend of mine sent me a personal development video from a guy named Jim Rohn. And this guy was a legend. He's an old-timer for those who have never heard of Jim Rohn before. But I recommend you look him up. He was a personal development speaker. He was a guru, like one of the first gurus that ever made it onto the scene. He coached and mentored people like Tony Robbins, to give you an idea. And I watched this video from Jim Rohn, and he talked all about goal setting. And he talked about living a better life. And he talked about not making excuses. He talked about if you want something in life, go after it. Don't make excuses why you can't get it. He said that whatever you put your mind to, you can achieve. So I thought to myself, what do I have to lose? I tried the things that he told me to do. I set goals for myself. I defined who I wanted to be. And then, since I had no idea what I wanted to do, I simply chose something that I wanted to focus on. And for me, that was advancing with the company that I'm with. And a few months go by, and I start making progress. You see, once you set a goal for yourself, you just start taking the steps in the direction that will lead you to the end result. It's just what happens, okay? I talked about it in a previous video. It's called the law of attraction. Once you decide what you want and set goals, you just start taking actions in that direction. People and situations and opportunities start coming into your life that you never would have seen before you set the goal. And what happened was, I was promoted. I was promoted into a team leader position. And I remember, and I'll never forget this day, I was scheduled to give a group presentation on goal setting and time management. And it was to 60 people for the team that I presided over. And I've never spoken to a group before this, and I was terrified. I was like, why are these 60 people going to listen to this 21-year-old kid talking to them about how to set goals and talking to them about how to live a better life? Why are they going to listen to me? And I let those thoughts creep into my head. And to combat that, I practiced and I prepared over and over and over again. I knew my material like the back of my hand. And then came the day that I actually delivered this group presentation to the team that I was working with. And I'll never forget that day. I'll never forget the feeling that went through my body. I'll never forget the faces on the people that I was working with. Because that day, I figured out my unique ability. My unique ability was communicating to groups of people. And since that day, I have been completely obsessed with improving my presentation skills, with improving my communication skills, with improving how I deliver a message, improving the persuasiveness factor, everything I've honed and tailored and worked on continuously to improve. Because since that day, I knew my unique ability. And since that day, I knew the one thing that I wanted to take all of my time and pour it into. And that was presenting to groups. That was helping people to live better lives, specifically through workshops and events and presentations. Now, since that day, I've spent thousands and thousands of dollars investing in myself to improve in this skill. I've spent money on courses. I've spent money on books to improve myself. I've spent money on actually going to events so that I can learn even more. I've spent money on coaches. I've spent money on talking with people who could help me to improve in this area. Because the reality is, especially if you're someone who is in your early 20s right now, or anyone in your 20s, even your early 30s, even into your early 40s, it doesn't matter how old you are. Age isn't a factor. It doesn't matter how old you are. Whatever you want to do, you just need to go out there and start making progress towards it. But the point is, when you're in your 20s, the number one thing you want to invest in is you. And even in your 30s, the number one thing you want to invest in is you and your skills and improving. Because once I started investing and becoming a better communicator, my life continued to improve and continued to improve because I spent time working on and mastering one skill versus spending my time on 10 to 20 different things trying to become okay at everything. As I continued gaining skill in the area of presentations, in the area of communication, my company started to take notice. I asked if I could start giving all of the team trainings. And my boss at the time I'm grateful for him. He happily obliged. He's like, that's fine. He's like, you have more fun doing it anyway. So I said, perfect, I appreciate it. And as time went on, I continued to progress. I continued and I started to give trainings every single month to sales teams. I started to train leadership. I started to do presentations for other sales team leads that were with the company. And eventually I moved into the role that I'm in now, where I'm the director of all training for the entire state of upstate New York. And I also do trainings nationally across the United States. And how do I get there? Did I just wake up and just hope and think about what I want and it brought me there? No. I took action. And I focused on one skill, one set of abilities for years. And 5 years later, I'm where I am now, where I opened my own business so that I can help more people to live a better life and I can help more people achieve their goals. And it's gotten to the point where I decided that I wanted to help people outside of my company. So I started my own business. I started Be Better Industries, where I work with companies and individuals to help their leaders become higher quality communicators. I help their leaders to give more persuasive presentations because the spoken word is so powerful. Video is the number one medium, the number one form of content that people are consuming. And we have the power to get our voices out there. You have the power to become extremely good at something and use that skill to help a massive amount of people. You can spend $10 on Facebook advertisements and reach 2,000 people. Think about that power. Think about what you believe in. Think about what you're good at. And think about taking that skill and using it to benefit the lives of a bunch of other people who are less fortunate than you or who are just a few steps behind you. And now I work with leaders all over to help them become better communicators, and I'm living my dream. And it keeps getting better year after year, but it wouldn't have been that way if I hadn't started placing a focus on becoming a better communicator. And that's why I say to you, pick one thing that you want to start improving in, one thing that you want to personally master, not over the course of a week, not over the course of a month, but over the course of your lifetime, at least for now. Don't be a dabbler, choose one thing. And if you have no idea what that skill is, I didn't know for a while either. After I watched that video from Jim Rohn years ago, it took me another 6 months to give that group presentation to even know that that was what I wanted to start doing. You might not even have done what your unique talent is yet. I had never given a group presentation, so how would I have known that I would have enjoyed it? So my recommendation to you is pick one thing that you want to improve in, and if you don't know what that one thing is, start trying new things all the time. Throw yourself out of your comfort zone. Try new things. Pick up a new hobby. If you don't like it, then never do it again. But you're going to do something. And it could be music, it could be sports, it could be fitness, it could be business, it could be your own company, it could be any of those things. But you're going to do something one day that just makes you feel so incredibly good. It puts you into a state of flow. A state of flow is where you lose track of time and you're only completely focused on the result, and you're completely focused on the journey. You're completely focused on the process that you're in the middle of doing. That's a state of flow. And certain activities will put you into that state. And when those activities put you into a state of flow, you found the one thing to place all of your time into. Because when you're especially good at something, you're not going to be replaced. When you're especially good at something, people are going to come to you for help. When you're especially good at something, you become an influencer in your space to be able to help to add more value to other people. And if you're wondering, how do I go about mastering that skill? The first step is to choose what that skill is. Once you know what it is, invest money into getting better at it. Invest money, invest time, buy all the books on the subject that you can, preferably the highest rated ones, the ones that are reputable. You don't want to waste your time reading bad books, but buy the books that will help you to dive deeper into this topic. Go to the events where you can meet other people who are on the same path as you. Or you can meet people who can help you to get to where you want to go, and you can add value to help them go to where they want to go. They might be in a different industry, but you might be able to help each other depending on what your unique ability is. So read books, go to events, find mentors. Find people who can help you take it to that next step. I've had a mentor in my life for my fitness. I've had a mentor in my life to get myself out of debt. I've had a mentor at the company that I'm with. I've had a mentor when it comes to my business. For whatever skill you're trying to master, find a different mentor. You can have a coach too, someone who holds you accountable and pushes you along. But the best way is to find somebody who's already doing what it is that you want to do. Find someone who's already on the journey. Maybe find someone who's already done it in general, if you can. If you can't, then find virtual mentors. Go on YouTube and watch all the people who are currently doing what you want to do and study them and walk like they walk, talk like they talk. You don't need to be a copy of them, but you can model their behavior to improve in your own skill set. So do like Bruce Lee says. Pick one thing to throw 10,000 hours into, rather than 10,000 things to throw 1 hour into. Because you don't need to be good at a lot. You simply need to be good at one thing and practice it until eventually you're a master. And then you can create your own destiny. So what I want you to do is go into the comments below, and I want you to comment, what do you believe your number one skill is, if you have that right now? What's your unique ability? What is your superpower? Put it in the comments. If you don't know yet, put that in the comments too. I would love to talk with you about it one-on-one. And go ahead and hit the like button. That way this video is shown to more people who could use the help. And if you got value from this video, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and hit the bell. That way you see all new videos released every single Monday. And sometimes there's 2 videos in a week, so you just never know. So hit that like button, hit the subscribe, and I will see you next time. And until then, be better.